In this video, I'm going to tell you which round would be the best round for you. And in addition to that, I'm going to tell you 3 points about MBA that you should definitely know. And the third point out of those three is a point which not many people know of. You are really going to be mind blown and you are going to get a lot of benefit out of that. So make sure that you stick till the very end. Welcome to Bani Abroad. If you are new to this channel, then I make content on studying and settling abroad, which will give you an edge. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button right now. Also, if you're thinking of applying abroad and are having trouble with the application process, then look no further. I'm here to help you. You can avail my consulting service for study abroad application, and the link is in the description box as well as in the first comment. Okay, let's do this thing. Instead of me telling you directly whether you should apply in round 1 or round 2, let me first tell you what the B school is actually looking for and what their selection strategy is so that you can answer it for yourself. But of course, I'll tell you my opinion in the end if you should apply to round 1 or round 2. So let's get started. For the love of food, let's take this example. Think of a B school as a buffet, and when you go to a buffet, you don't go to eat a one particular dish. It's not that you want to eat dal makhani or shahi paneer, but you want the best of everything. You want to eat the starters, you want to eat dessert, you want to eat snacks, you want to eat the main course. Everything is included and there is a lot of variety. Of course, it's more expensive than traditional meals, but so are the B schools. So B school, as you now know, is similar to a buffet, and they want people from all walks of life, and that can be a different background in terms of a different country, different work experience, or a different degree. And the best part is that the more unique you are, the higher is your chance of getting an admit. So this is a great news for all those people who have either pursued or are currently pursuing a degree, which is not that common. Because if you are an engineer who is watching this from India and you are a male candidate, then the odds are against you because you fall in one of the most overrepresented categories, and there would be a lot of people competing with you because there are many engineers who are applying for MBA. So all those people who thought that their degree, oh my god, why are we really doing it? This is your chance to shine. This is your chance to stand apart if you're thinking of pursuing an MBA. And let me tell you this, India and China, these are the two countries which are overrepresented the most. So if you belong to any one of this country, then you should definitely go for round 1 because you'll have to compete with them if you apply in round 2. So the earlier you apply, the better it is for you. So let's take the example of your wardrobe. Suppose you want new additions to your wardrobe. You want 2 shirts, 3 trousers, 2 scarves. Then when you go shopping, when you are done with your 2 shirts, if you found a third shirt which is similar, you wouldn't probably pay attention to it because you already have got that. But then if you chance across a trouser that's what you want and is not yet in your wardrobe, then you would go for it. So similar is the case with B school. If they already have that category represented, then your profile will have to be super competitive if you want to still get in. Also, apart from increasing the probability of getting an admit, you also increase the probability of getting a scholarship because sometimes universities have a limited number of funds and it's first come first serve. Of course, they will look at your application, they'll see if you meet that. It's not that everyone who comes in they'll get it. It's not that first serve first come. But of course, if they run out of funds and you're applying in a later round, then you won't be eligible for scholarship. So even from the perspective of getting a scholarship, applying to one of the earlier rounds is a must. Of course, there would be some B schools which would have their funding reserved for each round, so that even if you apply in one of the later rounds, you are still getting that scholarship. But also there will be a lot of B schools which will run out of funding in the earlier rounds, and then you will be at fault if you didn't apply earlier. Okay, so now we covered about round 1, and clearly it's the favorite one. But now you must be wondering, if it's the one that everyone should apply in, then who are the people who should apply in round 2? So coming to that, those are the people who need time to polish their profile. Maybe they have taken the GMAT but they didn't get the desired score and they want to improve it. And apart from this, there can also be this case that you got a great score in GMAT but you don't have the time to polish your application, your essay, resume, LORs, and you need time for that. Then it makes more sense to apply in round 2 because you don't want to hurt your chances by submitting a weak application, even though of course you'll have to wait for round 2. But even in round 1, if your application is weak, there is a chance that you will get rejected. So in that case, it's better to wait and give your best shot, which you can give in round 2. Now you must be clear who should apply in round 1 and who should apply in round 2. But wait, there's another strategy that you can incorporate while applying to B schools. So that is splitting the B schools between two different rounds. So what you can do is you can apply to your dream B schools in round 1, and then you can apply to your backup schools in round 2. What that will do is that will save your application cost, that will save your time, because of course you'll have to tweak your application according to the B school. And when you get the result of round 1, you'll know if you want to apply in round 2. So if you already did get admission to your preferred B schools, then there's no need to apply, just celebrate. But if you didn't get accepted, then no need to worry. You can still apply to your backup school in round 2 and still get an admit. Also, I forgot to tell you one thing. If you're applying in round 1 and you do not have that strong of an application, but it's not that you have a pretty weak application, so the B school will be confused about you, whether to take you or whether to reject you. So what they will do instead is that they will put you on a wait list. So depending on the other people who are applying in the next round, they'll see, okay, would you fit in? Are there people who are coming from the same background who have a better profile than you? So even that can happen, and that can lead to a delay in your result. So if you are not getting the result, then also it makes sense that in round 2 you apply to your backup school, because you have a 50-50 probability. Now coming to round 3, who should apply in round 3? Only those people who are damn confident about their profile, they should apply in round 3, because the competition is going to be cutthroat, and you would know the reason now why. It's because they have already filled those categories. They have filled people with this background from that country, and everything is covered. Now they are just looking for exceptional candidates, because they don't have to care about diversity. You should have an extremely competitive profile if you're applying in round 3. If not, then my advice is to wait for the next intake and then apply in round 1 of that intake. So these were the points regarding the rounds. Now I just want to address a few things about B schools, about MBA in general, which a lot of people I believe are confused about. The number one thing is that people think that even abroad they can come and pursue MBA without any work experience. That might be true for a few universities, but I don't think there's any fun to it. Of course, if you are in India or if you are in a country where doing MBA straight after undergrad is a norm, then of course go ahead for it. But if you are planning to study abroad, particularly in a country where the norm is that you have to have work experience in order to be eligible for MBA, then even if a university is offering you an MBA without work experience, don't go for it. Because the thing is that you would be competing for a job in that country itself, and the people who would be competing with you would be MBA graduates but with work experience. So even if you do think that you have MBA and that's a wonderful degree, the most prestigious degree maybe in this world, then you are mistaken, because only the degree will not land your role. Probably even after MBA you'll have to pursue an entry-level role because you do not have any work experience. So personally, I do believe that if that's the case, then don't go for an MBA, because eventually you have to land a job and you have to see how the job dynamics are in that country and then make your plan. The second thing that I want to cover is that you have to be mentally prepared to wait for 2-3 months to land that perfect job. I've covered that in the myth about B schools video, so you can watch that for a lot of myths that people have about B schools, but just covering the most important points in here, because I feel that you should be prepared if you are coming for an MBA. Here, it's not that if you pursue MBA from a top B school, you are guaranteed a job after one day of your graduation. It's not at all like that, because there are negligible on-campus placements. You have to search off campus, you have to search on your own, network on your own, and that takes time. So you have to give yourself that time so that you don't get frustrated and start doubting your decision. The third point that I'm going to disclose, not a lot of people know about this, but it's a great point to know. So the thing is that, of course, MBA is damn expensive. It's 120,000 Canadian dollars. But a lot of people come on PR and then pursue their MBA. And it's not just the tuition fee they are saving, but Canadian citizens and permanent residents, they have access to a lot more scholarships than international students. So on the scholarship front also, they benefit out of that. So already their tuition fee is slashed, and then on top of that, they have a lot of scholarships available. So the MBA is not anymore that expensive MBA degree for them. So this was today's video, and I hope that this was really useful for you. And if you are targeting B schools, then I'm pretty sure that this and this video would be equally useful for you. And now you know the drill. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon as well. Until my next video, take care and stay happy. Bye.